everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. Faith needs a kidney, but not just any kidney. It has to be the kidney of a close relative, and Faith has a rare blood type. Apparently it's not so rare though, considering Uncle Adam also has this same rare blood type. What are the odds of that? The thing that the Newmans need the most is in the body of the person they hate the most. That's gonna be a real problem. Oh, so Nick has run off to, quote, knock Adam's ass out and drag him home to save Faith's life. That sounds like a great idea, a really great approach. Hey, in fact, why don't you just knock Adam out, drag him back to Genoa City, cut out his kidney while he's passed out, and then leave him to wake up in a bathtub filled with ice? Wondering what happened. He's just got some mysterious stitches. Has anybody ever heard that urban legend before? We could make it come true. Oh, the drama. What in the heck is Nick even going to say when he finds Adam? You come back here and give me your kidney or I'll pound you. Adam doesn't have to do this. Adam doesn't owe anyone his kidney. Saving Faith's life 2 other times was enough. Adam is not on the hook to save Faith's life for the rest of her life. Like, he can't go following her around waiting to save her life every time she slips and falls into a puddle. At some point, this kid's gonna have to start taking care of herself. And Victor's family has not exactly been welcoming of Adam into the family, yet they're going to expect Adam to act like family when it serves their purpose. I don't know about this. Adam is going to come back to town and he is going to risk his own life again to save Faith. In more ways than one. He is going to risk his physical health with the kidney transplant, and he's going to risk his freedom since he's on the run right now. And then flash forward a month later, Faith is going to be back to downing brownies, and Adam is still going to be on everyone's hate list. Adam is maybe going to get a 1-month free pass from Nick, Ray, and Billy after the transplant, and then that's it. It's going to be right back to the same old thing. I don't see how this is going to work out well for Adam. What's in it for Adam? Doing the right thing? Well, what's that ever gotten him? I don't know. Nick might want to think about taking the soft approach here. Like, instead of charging up on Adam like Adam owes him the debt of a kidney, Nick might just want to go to Kansas and act like he bumped into Adam by accident. Like, oh, bro, I missed you. I've been wondering whatever happened to you. Like, Like, Nick goes in to give Adam a big bro hug while he's secretly squishing the area where Adam's kidney would be, trying to make sure that it's ripe enough. I think that might be the better way to go about it. Lull Adam into the false sense of security, and then Nick can steal his kidney. Like, bring it home inside of an old Star Wars lunchbox that he pulled from the rubble of the old Montalvo farm. Well, I am glad that Nick is traveling to Kansas as the messenger instead of Sharon. I think that twist leaves a bigger dramatic question in the air, because Sharon asking Adam to save her daughter's life would be a slam dunk answer. I think Adam would absolutely do that for Sharon. But Nick asking Adam to do it is an entirely other thing. I also like that it leaves Sharon back in Genoa City with Nikki. I think it's wonderful that Nikki is left in this supportive position with Sharon back at home, giving Sharon someone to cry with or scream at or just sit in the car with. I think Melody Thomas Scott has been so great lately. She has had a lot of good dialogue, a lot of good moments. Maybe I'm just extra appreciating her right now because I finally cracked open her book. I did it to spite Gary, though. Gary made a comment to me a couple weeks ago saying, I know, Allie, that Melody Thomas Scott book is just collecting dust on your shelf. And I said to myself, oh, right. I'm going to read this book, but I'm going to read it just to spite you. No, I'm just kidding. I finally did crack it open. I've been reading it in between waiting for my daughter at her dance classes, and I think it's given me this totally different view of Melody Thomas Scott. She's someone who I've seen for 25 years now, and I'm getting this inside look at her life, and it is really pleasurable to finally know who she is. And I'm not even that far along in the book, and boy, has she got a juicy story. So I'm loving her. I'm loving Nikki. I think Nikki is looking good right now. She is seeming healthy right now, and she is just killing it. So I like having her back at home with Sharon. And I tell you, I also do like the dynamic that is being set up for Sharon and Adam and what their future relationship will be now. When Adam gets back and he gets through all of this, because we know he's going to give Faith the kidney, I think it sets up this dynamic where Sharon will have been the only one, or aside from Victor, Sharon will have believed in Adam, and she will have been right to believe in Adam. And I'm sure that that is going to make their sex really good. When we get there, when he's feeling well enough to have it. I mean, she has got to thank him somehow, right? Flowers just don't seem like enough, so I'm assuming there'll be some thank you sex right around the corner. Sharon and Adam can just have thank you sex right there at the cottage because Ray is gone. And because Ray is gone, he is also not being kept in the loop about anything that's going on with Faith and her medical crisis, which might actually be enough to make Ray want to move back in, to help Faith recover, and to support Sharon, maybe grovel for her forgiveness when he finds out that Sharon was right about Adam. There is going to be no denying it. Adam will have saved Faith's life twice in a month. Oh my gosh, somebody needs to keep this kid on a leash. Twice in 1 month. It is going to be pretty hard to continue to act like Adam is a piece of gum stuck on the bottom of Ray's shoe when Adam has risked his own life to save Faith's life. Ray is going to find out that Chelsea is the guilty one. He's already starting to become suspicious of her. He stops by the condo this week just as Chelsea is walking around freely and talking to herself loudly with the door unlocked so that anybody could just come in at any time and totally bust her. But Ray asks Chelsea if he can use Connor as bait to draw Adam out of hiding, then arrest him. Chelsea did not like that idea. Chelsea rips Ray a new one for daring to suggest that Connor should wiggle around like a little worm on a hook and then watch his own father get arrested. Maybe a little bit of humanity from Chelsea right then and there in that moment. She warns Ray that obsessing over Adam can be a very dangerous undertaking. Sounding like someone who knows. And then she reaffirms to Ray that he's a good person. He doesn't want to follow down this path because he's a good person. You're not like the rest of us, Ray. And Ray's suspicions were raised. He tells Michael after that, who was looking really good in his scenes this week. I thought Michael looked really good this week. But Ray tells Michael about Sharon's theory, and we also saw Ray hinting to Victor, or letting slip to Victor, that maybe he is starting to believe there's more to the story. He also questions Chloe about it all. Squirrely Chloe. Squirrely Chloe, who's married to Chipmunk Kevin. Oh, she really botched it, didn't she? Chloe got really defensive with Ray at the mildest of questions. She proclaimed her hatred for Adam, told Ray to just focus on finding him, and then stormed out. Yeah, that wasn't suspicious or anything, Chloe. Like, she should have been playing it like she wanted to help Ray find Adam. That might have been a little bit more believable. Because if Chloe was that touchy over one casual conversation with Ray, I'm wondering if Chloe is going to be the one to crack, turn over evidence on Chelsea, just as Chelsea slips out of town for Melissa Claire Egan's maternity leave. After taking a front row seat to Victoria's overthrow of Newman Enterprises, Billy makes it to his date with Lily and is rewarded with our first post-COVID love-making scene. Yes! Beautiful music, beautiful lighting, beautiful moments. Better enjoy those beautiful moments while we can. Victoria warns Lily that Victor Newman is coming after them all and says, "You think you're a match for him, but you're not." Methinks that Victoria meant that in more ways than one when she said it to Lily. You think you're a match for him, but you're not. Victoria is very sly. She is very clever lately. She knew exactly what she was saying. But Lily seems to think that she is matched pretty well. She was deflecting Devon's skepticism last week, and this week she is still trying really hard to keep Billy's mind off of Victoria and off of the Cyaxaries deal by keeping him in bed as much as possible. That's Lily's plan. Just try to distract him with sex. But without fail, the moment that Billy gets up out of the sex bed, he's right back to it. He wandered down to the hotel lobby this week and found Tara, told her all about what his theory is about what happened between Victor and Ashland and the contract signing. And he was trying to feign concern about her husband, which I found very unappealing, because what Billy really cares about is seeing if he still has a chance to pry Cyaxaries out of Victor's hand. So it was it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth that he was standing there saying like, "Oh, I'm worried about you. No, my concern is for you. You're in our thoughts." I don't know. I don't know. Victor's hands are very far-reaching. It is possible that Billy and Lily and Victoria are all going to be sorry at the end of this. Actually, Nick and Victoria had a very nice chat this week about, specifically Nick's decision to not spend his life warring with Victor, which is exactly what Victoria is doing. Nick chose the path of just stepping away to live his life, to focus on his kids, and to focus on his business, and to focus on his life with Linda. Linda and Don. Couple of real winners there. The hottest new soap opera couple, Linda and Don. I loved that scene with Nick and Phyllis role playing, and then it just ended up turning out so uncreative and ordinary, but funny. Hey, when are Nick and Phyllis going to end up getting their post-COVID kiss? They haven't had one. Everybody else is getting the post-COVID lovemaking on. When's it going to be Phyllis and Nick's turn? I think those two are comedy, they are heat, they are magic, and I'm ready to see it. Speaking of heat, I wish I could believe that Nate and Lola could take a swing at love. Get it? 'Cause baseball. They had a long, extended, detailed talk about baseball. Oh, but I don't know. I think Lola is as good as gone, so I just can't get myself too invested. The bases are loaded. Supergirl is up to bat. I am rooting for the home team, but I think it's not going to be a slam dunk. No, wait, that's the wrong sport. I think it would be a good direction. Elena and Lola are roommates. Elena blows her chance with Nate. She doesn't really want him anyway. Then Lola starts dating him, and Elena has to watch the whole thing, probably listen to it too from the bedroom next door. That is awful. I love it. Due to illness, the role of Amanda Sinclair is temporarily being played by Karla Mosley. Due to illness, I'm sure a lot of people who aren't really in the know on what's going on with Y&R and the actors and actresses behind the scenes, I'm sure a lot of people assumed that Michelle Morgan got COVID. But did we ever talk about what actually happened with her? I don't think we did. So she had emergency eye surgery for a detached retina. I don't know much about that. I haven't had it happen. I don't know anyone who has had it happen, but I'm sure it would be very scary. She probably had a moment of being afraid that she was going to lose her vision or her eye. But she is back on set already. As of last week, I saw an article saying she was back on set, looking more beautiful than ever, I'm sure. But in the meantime, we have Karla Mosley as the temporary replacement. What do you guys think about Karla Mosley? That's our question of the week at yrchat.com. Do you give Karla a thumbs up or a thumbs down for her portrayal of Amanda in this temporary space? Oh, well, I think she's great. I really do. I mean, she's not Michelle Morgan. It's a very different portrayal, but I think she is a great pinch hitter. Since we're all on the baseball analogies right now, I think she's a great pinch hitter. I can't think of anyone better. Can you? Can you think of anyone else who would make a better temporary recast? We did this with Victor a couple of weeks ago. Why don't we do it with Amanda now? Can you think of any other famous actresses who would play the role of Amanda Sinclair really well? If so, you should leave a comment there while you're voting in the poll. I have to think about that. And I'll be interested in seeing what you guys come up with. You're so creative. Well, like Michelle's retina, I am finding myself so detached from Amanda's investigation. I don't know why, but I'm having a really hard time wrapping my brain around it all. I think it might be because there are so many off-screen players and factors, and all of this happened so long ago. There's just not a lot that I'm seeing that I'm able to connect with around the mystery itself. I mean, Amanda thinks that her father found out that someone at Newman Enterprises 30 years ago was paying Sutton for favors, and that means her father was either being a whistleblower and got himself killed for it, or was potentially a blackmailer and got himself killed over it. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm so much more invested in the character of Amanda than what the actual murder mystery is. Amanda doesn't really seem even to particularly believe her own story. She just seems to need to come up with some kind of reasonable doubt in order to win her case. She needs reasonable doubt that Sutton was not the one to kill her father. And I think that Imani's little visit on Friday caused Amanda to have some reasonable doubt about her own client's innocence or guilt. So Imani shows up at the door after an Amanda and Devon sex sesh. Again, it always feels so weird to have our regular actors acting with someone new and acting like nothing is different, but it does always feel like a little bit of a betrayal. Like, whoa, Devon, now you're sleeping with another woman? You slept with Elena, you slept with Amanda, now you're sleeping with Karla Mosley? But Imani shows up at the door and she is given all of these veiled warnings to Amanda, and none of it amounts to anything. It just makes me more confused about the murder mystery. I was wishing that Imani would just get to the point and tell me why Amanda needs to back off this case. But I will say, I really liked Imani in this past episode. The first time around, Imani didn't do much for me, but this time she won me over in terms of the character. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just that her hair was styled differently, or who knows, maybe I just loved the hot pink and black outfit that she was wearing, but something about Imani came off as more comfortable to me this time around, so I enjoyed that. And you know what, I feel surprisingly comfortable about settling into the next month of Amanda's journey with Karla Mosley. I think it's probably because I recognize her and am somewhat familiar with her style from The Bold and the Beautiful, but this temporary recast feels very familiar to me, and I don't think that it will end up distracting from the story the way that it distracted me from the story when Chance was temporarily recast with some guy I don't know. The Chancellor House drama has officially begun. Did you hear Nina tell Esther that Tessa's guitar playing was a little loud and distracting? That is it. The spit has hit the fan, folks. Nina is slipping. She can't get a moment of peace around this place with all of Tessa's guitar playing. That may just be the straw that breaks the camel's back and busts open this whole storyline. Nina is going to end up smashing one of Tessa's precious guitars over one of Catherine's stone garden statues or something. Oh, two artists, a writer and a musician. One loves the sound and the other needs the quiet. There's the drama that's coming. Oh, Catherine. The Catherine Chancellor Mansion. The house is there, but it is not the same. So it was nice to see Esther this week, and I really felt for her. Esther was having the realization that time had moved on without her. Like, there are whole new lives being created in the Chance manch, and back in the day, Esther was present for every laugh and every tear, and she is no longer. So it was very sad. It was very poignant. I really felt for her. I thought it was sweet that Nina suggested maybe Esther should come back to the mansion to do a little work here and there. But, yeah, I mean, I think we all know that Nina was just throwing Esther a little bit of a bone, like trying to suggest something that would help keep her busy and connected. And I hope she follows through with it. The older that I've gotten, the more I have appreciated Esther. I used to not like Esther, but as I continue to grow, I've appreciated her more, feather duster or not. She is a connection to the past. She is a connection to Catherine, and we can't have enough of those as far as I'm concerned. It's a modern day medical miracle. Ashland Locke has had a change of heart. Literally. Ashland Locke's heart attack has changed his heart. He is no longer the Loch Ness monster. He is sweet as a little kitten. Meow. Oh. Well, Tara was very proud to give Kyle the news that Jabot is saved. Ashland has had a complete turnaround, and now he is not only calling off the dogs when it comes to all the trouble that happened with Jabot, but now Ashland even wants to partner with Jabot and and Jack is agreeing to it. Everybody thinks it's a great idea. Are you kidding me? Last week, this man was making a full-scale attack on your family company, and this week you're talking about how hot he is in the business world and what great things he could do for Jabot? Yeah, he could do a lot of great things for Jabot. Or he could completely cripple you. Why are you taking the chance? Just use Locke's change of heart to have an excuse to quietly walk away and then never speak to him again. Why are they getting into bed with him on a new deal? That makes no sense. I don't buy it. I don't buy that he's had a change of heart, and I'm starting to not buy that Tara has no connection to her husband's business dealings. I don't know. She's had a lot more to do this week. I'm becoming suspicious of her. For all we know, she's the shark behind the monster. And you know what they say, behind every monster there's a shark, right? That's the saying? No? Well, despite all of that, I asked you guys a question last week for a poll. What's your overall impression of Tara Locke? And I voted that I have an overall positive impression of Tara, but I was in the minority. This was a very highly voted in poll. I don't know why people came out in droves to vote in the Tara Locke poll, but they did. Minority vote, 15% had an overall positive impression of Tara. Majority vote was neutral. So it was 43% people neutral on Tara, 42% people negative. So people were kind of split between neutral and negative opinions of Tara. I like her. I think overall, you know, without knowing much about her, I do sort of have a positive impression of her as a soap opera character or a positive person. Like early in the week when I voted in the poll, I definitely thought, oh, she's totally on Kyle's side. That's certainly what Kyle believes. Kyle believes that Tara is a positive force. He seems to wholeheartedly believe in everything that Tara is saying. He suddenly trusts her completely. But he could be blinded. I mean, she is the mother of his son now, isn't she? Kyle can't help but be curious about their child. So while Ashland was laid up in the hospital, Kyle and Tara had some time to talk. And there was this really tender scene where Kyle asked Tara to just do him a favor. Just tell him something about his son. Anything. Just something that he could hold on to. And Tara told him a cute little story about Harrison's favorite song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and how he says, "Bub, bub, bub, the world so high." I mean, it sounded like someone's real story about their kid, and I thought it was cute. But it's also kind of dangerous. She then had a follow-up personal visit to Kyle's hotel room while Summer was in the shower, and Tara texts Kyle a picture of the boy. She could have just texted it without making the personal trip, but she went right to Kyle's hotel room, texted a picture of their son, wanting him to see it, and now Kyle is completely smitten. He's going to be staring at this picture forever. It really, instead of closure, it seems more like it's planting a seed. And I will say, I mean, maybe it's a good thing. I'm impressed by how non-intimidated Summer was by the fact that Kyle now has this picture of Harrison to gaze upon instead of gazing upon her 24/7. Summer doesn't see this child as a threat to her relationship, and I think that's very mature, and that's really great, and that shows a lot of growth in her character, because I think it would have been very easy to go the other way, where Summer felt jealous of Kyle's son and felt like she had a need to compete for that attention. Now, when it comes to Tara, or Sally or any other woman in Kyle's life, I think that's a totally different story. Summer definitely doesn't trust Tara. Imagine that. Summer doesn't trust Kyle's ex. Who'd have thunk it? But instead of fighting against it, Summer just doubles down on the marriage idea and she launches into full-on wedding mode. I think it's great. I really like Summer and Kyle. I loved their lovemaking scene. It was very intimate and very fun, and I hope we get a wedding. I would love to see a Kyle and Summer wedding, and if I want them to say I do, but then I'm kind of hoping for a wedding crash. We haven't had a wedding crash in a long while. What if Kyle and Summer just get to the point where they're saying I do, and then their wedding ends up getting crashed by a 4-year-old? Maybe Harrison runs in and runs down the aisle saying, "Daddy, Daddy." I mean, Harrison has got to make an appearance sooner or later. The more Kyle thinks about Harrison, the more he is going to want to be with him. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's Kyle's son. I kind of wonder if maybe Kyle will end up exposing his own secret and blowing up this newfound copacetic Jabot deal that they have with Ashland when Kyle reveals the truth that that kid is his son. Jack is spending an awful lot of his time this week hanging out just outside of a room, just behind the door. He's always overhearing something that Sally is saying. And one of those times, she made sure of it. So first, Jack overhears Sally telling Summer that she loves him. But Sally didn't know Jack was listening. Then there was the time where Sally timed it so that Jack overheard her telling off Tara Locke, defending Jack, defending Jabot and the Abbotts against the evil Locks. If I were Jack, I think I would have been annoyed at Sally over that. He's told her it's over a couple of times. And here she goes, telling off Tara in public. Like, Sally didn't know what she was sticking her nose into there. I mean, the Abbotts are in the process of trying to broker a peace deal and a business deal with the Locks. And then Sally goes telling off his wife, Ashland's wife. I mean, it seemed really inappropriate and like something that Jack should not like, because Jack even had this, he stepped in and smoothed it over and was really nice with Tara, and then took Sally back to the back patio and didn't really say anything about it to her. He just listened to, you know, her more declarations of love. I mean, Jack seemed to find what Sally did endearing. It was endearing to him that Sally was willing to fight for him. And then, of course, she was declaring her feelings for him directly to him, but we got no follow-up response on that. We kind of cut the week there, not really knowing what Jack is going to say to her. Now, after seeing Sally set herself up to look good in Jack's eyes, it is harder to believe her true love declaration about Jack. The fact that she set it up makes her look like a manipulator. But I'm not counting out the love story yet just because of that. On some level, everyone manipulates to get what they want. You're supposed to try to get what you want. You're supposed to try to make yourself look good, to put your best foot forward. So it's hard to judge her, blanketly like that, just to do a blanket judgment on her because of that action. I don't know. Sally Spectra is a fighter, and she is a very clever girl. She is determined to get what she wants, and in this case, who she wants. I've had enough drama for a lifetime. That was our quote from last week. The answer was Nate. Nate said, I've had enough drama for a lifetime, when he was explaining to Lola that secrets are not exactly his idea of romance. I thought that was a nice line, but a hard quote to guess. However, Tina, Lynn, Henry, Jana, Jamie, Daisy, and Victoria. You guys guessed that was Nate. Let's see if you can do it again. I wonder if this is going to be a hard one. I don't know, but it is a fun line. Here it is. Karma is a bitch. What do you think of that? True? Karma is a bitch. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Well, let's find out what's on your mind this week, starting with Daisy, who says, after what she did to his son, Jack giving Sally a second chance is starting to remind me of the relationship between John and Jill. To me, she snowed him the way Sally is snowing Jack, although I just don't see Jack as kind and as understanding as John. Hurting Ashley was not that long ago. So I hope Jack never again sees Sally as a romantic interest, even though Sally seems to be on the I got busted, but that's not who I am apology train. I hope Jack recognizes that Sally is not who she claims. She's the one likely planning revenge against Summer. This is a good question, and maybe it's great that Y&R left that scene on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Do we think that Jack is going to forgive Sally? He has been so adamant for the past, 2 weeks since they broke up at saying no, not giving her another chance. Like saying, hey, that's great about your reformation, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to accept you back as a relationship. But I think he probably will. There's a part of me that thinks Jack is going to bend on the issue of Sally sooner or later. And I really like that you made this connection with John and Jill. I wonder if there's any chance, knowing how much Jack kind of went on and on about not wanting to have any children with Carrie, remember his last relationship? I wonder if there's any chance that Sally might find herself pregnant with Jack's child, similar to how Jill found herself pregnant with John's child. John really didn't want to have a baby. Jack wouldn't really want to have a baby. That would be an interesting parallel. And in general, it seems like the writers at this point are doing a lot of callbacks to old stories. It does seem like they're wanting to turn things around back to a classic soap direction and remind the viewers, who majority of us do remember the old stories, it seems. I think they kind of want to give the viewers that ability to chew on old stories in light of new events. So it's certainly possible that Jack will take Sally back, and who knows, you never know. I mean, Sally might be giving Jack a child at the same time that Jack is learning he has a grandchild. Well, let's talk about Adam. Because Sandra says, knock his ass out, Nick. See, it is just so absurd to me that was Nick's approach. Like, he did say, I'm gonna go and appeal to Adam's smaller, better side, but that Nick got so macho about the whole thing was weird to me. Like, nobody owes you a kidney, dude. Back off. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I suppose it depends on where you fall on the issue of Adam. I'm sure there's plenty of people who would be perfectly happy to drag him back to town and cut the kidney out themselves. Gary says, if somebody called me up and said, I'm near but far, I would have absolutely no clue and would never find them. but on soaps, the folks know right where to go. I was thinking the same thing, Gary. I never would have guessed Adam's riddle that he said to Sharon on the phone, yet she was able to deduce from it where he might be. Like, I'm near but far. I'm someplace old but new. What has 13 hearts but no other organs? A deck of cards. I don't know. I would never have been able to guess the riddle. I would have not even thought that he'd be in Kansas because I would have thought that was too obvious. Jamie says, I'm really liking the vibe between Sharon, Nick, Victor, and Nikki. Loving support for Faith, compassion for both Sharon and Nick, and no Sharon bashing, even from Nikki, when the topic of Adam came up. Oh yes, I knew that Adam was going to be this kidney donor. The second that, I knew there was going to be that Faith was going to need some rescuing, and that Adam was going to be the one to do it. The second that, everybody went to the emergency room. Nick and Sharon were arguing in the waiting room, and Nikki was standing between them saying, no, we don't need to debate whether or not this is Adam's fault. Yeah, he's good, whatever. I knew right then and there that's where we were headed, that it was a everybody hates Adam, but we need something from him type story. Well, where Chelsea is going to land on all of this is very interesting question. We know Adam's going to donate the kidney. We know Sharon's going to be eternally grateful for it. We know she's going to be right back in the same triangle with Adam and Ray a month from now, only she's going to be more drawn toward Adam because he has now saved her daughter's life. She will see him as a hero. She will feel bonded to him through that. But now she's got Ray wanting her back. I think we can kind of see where that we're headed right back to that triangle. But where does Chelsea fall in all of this, especially given the fact that we know Melissa Claire Egan is going to be exiting on maternity leave? Victoria says, at least Chelsea's character hasn't gone totally down the rabbit hole. It was true to character to have her not involve Connor in her scheme. It was way out of character for Ray to suggest it. Kudos to the writers for showing us how far Ray is willing to go. And Gary asks, is that an attack on Ray? I guess he realized and took it back. Imagine getting shamed by Chelsea Lawson, or maybe he never planned to actually do it and just wanted to see how Chelsea would react. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think, what was in Ray's mind? We know Chelsea's mind. What was in Ray's mind in that scene, in that moment? Was he actually pushed so far to the edge and so determined to get his revenge on Adam that he had no problem putting Adam's young son in the crossfire and had no thoughts about what that might do to the child in order to do it? Or was that Ray's plan all along? Did he know that he was going to provoke that type of reaction from Chelsea? Was he in fact looking for that type of reaction from Chelsea? It's a good question and we don't know that yet. Maybe we will. Oh, this is interesting. Sue W. says, it bothers me that Victor may have let Ashlyn Locke die if Ashlyn hadn't signed the contract. I want to believe that Victor wouldn't really go that far. It would have been much more believable to me had the audience seen Victor secretly calling 911 immediately, but then letting Ashlyn think not. Victor could have gotten the dastardly upper hand and chuckled at Ashlyn's expense when the paramedics rushed in just as Ashlyn signed and was putting the pen down. Oh, that's a fair point, Sue W. I hadn't thought about that. I was just so all about the Victor Newman ruthlessness and the great soapy moment. But yeah, Y&R has taken a lot of pains to soften Victor over the past couple of years. And then certainly that was a very soapy move that he pulled, but it was not a very nice one. And it's interesting that kind of colored how you're viewing Victor just a little bit now. Good point. Well, let's talk about our poll question from last week and get some of your thoughts and impressions about Tara Locke. Astra says, I'm neutral when it comes to Tara. I don't hate her, but she's done nothing for me as a character. I feel like she's just a prop to usher in Ashland to hopefully have a more permanent stay in Genoa City and to give Kyle and Summer the obstacle of having his kid to raise. I think once she's done serving that purpose, she will probably be killed in the crossfire of some dangerous situation with Ashland versus Kyle and the Abbotts or the Newmans. Oh, so you think Tara's not even going to be around that long? That's not a bad theory. Bring Tara in, let her be a little bit of a mini challenge for Kyle and Summer, then cut her throat, and then let the challenge for Kyle and Summer be raising the son. Of course, yeah. I think that would actually be a fairly interesting way to do the story. I like the idea of Summer having this quick stepchild all of a sudden. It's similar to when Abby had Max, and suddenly she had this child from Stitch's previous relationship. Only I would not like to see Harrison push Summer down a flight of stairs. But I think it would be interesting to see Summer now put into this role where she is a mother and seeing how she reacts to that. Henry says, I like Tara. She has that look. She comes across as being very mature and quite sexy. I can easily see how Kyle would be drawn to her, not the little girl that Summer, albeit very sexy as well, portrays. Yes, now I think this is very interesting because I thought that Summer was so charming in her lovemaking scenes with Kyle on Friday. It's clear that they are both very comfortable together. They were probably both happy to be able to do an intimate scene together. But I just had to say, I really think that Summer is coming into her own. And I think if Kyle and Summer had to be put in the position of raising Harrison, that would really push Summer to another level of maturity and seeing what she would do there. But as far as Tara and her very soap opera look, I think that's an interesting comment. She does look very soap opera classic, you know? TB84 voted neutral, saying, so far Tara seems like she means well and is trying to do what's best for everyone, but it's too early to say. We don't know much of her yet. Who knows, she might be holding on to some big secret in her sleeve. We'll have to see, but I like her appearance. Oh, there's another comment about Tara's appearance. Now, I also have to say, I do wonder if it could twist in a way that Tara is the villain. Maybe now we've been set with the expectation that Ashland Locke is the villain, and Tara has no idea about her husband's business dealings. What if we're expecting Ashland to be the bad guy, and then it turns out that it's Tara who's behind some things? And if not the things from the past, maybe she'll be behind some things that happen in the future. Then they kill her off, give the kid to Kyle, and therein lies that challenge. Tony says the character of Tara has a classic Y&R look. She could be a contemporary of Victoria. A friend, maybe? Did they meet in Europe? Have they met in Genoa City yet? I don't recall. The show has a lot of women right now, but I suggest we keep Tara. There's the third comment about Tara's look. She does just look soapy, doesn't she? She sort of looks like she belongs here, and that's an interesting point, that maybe she looks like she could be a friend of Victoria's. Sue W. gave Tara a positive vote, saying, I like the steely restraint Tara has brought so far. Despite our sassy Summer's bluster, she just looked bratty and out of her league when confronting Tara. Tara is married to Ashland Locke after all, and may actually be the more formidable half of that power couple. I like the confidence the actress is bringing with those icy blue eyes, and I suspect she was the seductive Mrs. Robinson to a young party boy Kyle. Could she end up being the long-awaited next great love for Jack Abbott? Oh, what a tangled web little Harrison would grow up in, just like all the Genoa City youngins. Ooh, Sue W. Ooh, keep bringing your comments. Your comments are good and thoughtful, and I love some of your choice of words here. It is interesting when you say that Tara might be the more formidable half of that power couple. I thought it was interesting that early in the week it was all about Ashland, or last week. Now this week, Jack characterized it as dealing with the Locks, or having problems with the Locks. And it was all about Ashland before. Now suddenly it's the Locks. That tells me that Tara is a part of this. She's not just the unknowing victim of the powerful husband. I'm starting to see a shift in the language, which makes me think that she is more involved than she's letting on. There's also a good point being raised here that Summer, Sally, both of them had these confrontations with Tara that got really big and, bratty and immature. And Tara just stood there. She took it and she kind of looked at him like, yeah, I know your game. I think she even said something similar to Sally, like, I know you. I've known 100 yous. She just took it, and steely restraint is a very great choice of words for describing her. I also like the idea that she was the seductive Mrs. Robinson. Is she older than Kyle? I mean, I like that idea there. I wonder how much there is still between Tara and Kyle. I wonder, why did their relationship end? Was it because she found out that she was pregnant? There's a lot of play here. Lot of play. And I suspect that it was brought on in part because of Lola's absence. Lola was the challenge for Kyle and Summer for a long time, and Summer was the challenge for Kyle and Lola. That was the triangle. And now it seems that maybe Y&R knew Lola was going off to at least try for other things. So they've given us a different triangle to work with, and we have this added bonus of the child factor. There's a lot here. I like this story, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Zuperplex says Tara never wants to see Kyle again, but she shows him a picture of Harrison. Not a smart move. Yes, I agree, Zuperplex. This was risky for Tara if staying away from Kyle is what she wants. Eventually, Kyle is going to want more. And I don't think that showing Kyle the picture and giving him this little bit of information about Harrison's personality is giving him closure. It's in fact opening up another door. The question is that what Tara wants? We don't know that yet. We don't quite know yet what Tara wants, although she has been insisting. She loves her husband. There's a reason they're together. You might think whatever you want to think about Ashland, but I love him. That's why I'm with him, and I want my family with him. But we'll have to see. It could spin any way. Tina Cole also says, Tara, for someone who doesn't want to be seen with Kyle to keep their secret hidden, she sure keeps wanting to see him. Yes, it's possible that Tara wanted the life with Ashland. This is the life that looked good on paper, but maybe what her heart really wanted was Kyle, and she just made the choice to go with the life that looked good on paper. And who knows? For all we know, she's been longing for Kyle all of these years. For all we know, every time she looks at Harrison, she's seeing Kyle and longing for Kyle. Oh, let's switch topics over to Amanda. Kamna has a theory that Amanda's father is alive and is behind all of this, that maybe he got plastic surgery or something. I wonder if that's the truth. Imani knows something, and it's possible that she knows Sutton is guilty, but it's also possible Imani knows that Amanda's father is alive. Maybe Imani is working with Amanda's father to pull all of this off. I mean, Imani definitely did not have a high opinion of Sutton. Is it possible that she's working with Amanda's father to try to set Sutton up for this? Maybe Imani wants Sutton to go to jail. There's a lot here also that I'm looking forward to digging into. I didn't know we were going to be getting Imani back. She was gone for so long, but the fact that Y&R brought her back even for one episode tells me that they do have a plan, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get some drama here. I like my drama on screen, not off screen. So they're gonna need to start materializing this reporter and all this other stuff. Like I'm getting lost on the murder mystery, although I'm enjoying the characters involved. Zuperplex says, "Wow, Imani is more reasonable than I thought." Yeah, that was my impression too. I thought last time we saw Imani, she was all emotion, raw emotion, pure bluster. She did just like a brat, didn't want Amanda to get the family attention that she wanted to have. And that was Amanda's argument this week during their confrontation. Oh, she had a great line. Like, you really just soaked up all the sunshine of this family, and now you're afraid of being eclipsed. Mwah! Beautiful choice of words there. I loved that little piece of poetry that came from Amanda, and I think it's a possibility that it's true, but it also could be a red herring. We don't really know what Imani's motives are, but I agree with you, Superplex, that she really came off as far more rational and reasonable. I mean, last time it was all restraining order, and I just don't want you around. I seem jealous. I don't want you having my mommy. But this time it definitely seemed like there was more to what she had to offer. And Superplex also says, careful, Amanda, Devon may be tempted to sleep with Imani. I thought that too. The second that Imani came into the room, they had just had sex. Imani didn't really like the fact that Devon was brought up to speed on what was going on with their family. I had the thought like, is this the next triangle right here, standing here in this room? Amanda, Imani, Devon, could be. New topic. Oh, Victoria says, a hint today that one chatter's prediction may come true. The study on the east side of the Chancellor Mansion is almost soundproof. Could this be Mariah's bedroom in the future? Oh, interesting. Ellen says, no one will hear her scream. Yikes. We could definitely be going into a dark direction. Mariah getting locked up in the soundproof room of the Chancellor Mansion. That wouldn't have occurred to me, but I think that's a very interesting possibility. Again, these writers seem to be taking us back. They like to take us back to old stories, remind us of old stories, give us these full circle moments. It's certainly possible that something nefarious could happen. Yikes. Hey, Southside Granny says, Nina Webster and Jack Abbott. That would be a good couple. I can't believe I forgot to talk about that last week. Jack and Nita had that great conversation at the coffee house, and I saw it, registered it, love it, but completely forgot to talk about it. Yeah, I liked seeing those two chatting. I could certainly see them being a new romantic couple, or I could just see them being friends. That would be okay with me too, but that was a nice scene. Just seeing two people, the two people that have been around a while, and just having them reminisce. There's just something very comfortable and appealing about that. Marianne V says, Jack and Nina are longtime friends, but maybe they can be more if Nina stays long enough. I would never have guessed that we would get Nina out of this, but it is very nice. That's just such a surprise. Nina is another one of these characters that just seems like an every woman. She's an everyman. She's just so relatable. She's so down to earth. She just kind of says the things that everybody's thinking, but in the nicest possible way. Yes, I love having Nina around, and I would be all for a Nina and Jack friendship or more. Diana says, I was very happy to see Esther make an appearance at the coffee house. I've really grown to like her character, as she is a classic longtime character of the show. I know some chatters are wanting to see Nina and Jack get together, which I would not mind seeing, but my preference would be for Jack to realize that his real love interest is Esther. I had predicted this year that Jack and Esther would fall in love after Mrs. Martinez must go back home to care for her ill mother. Esther offers to help Jack by filling in for Mrs. Martinez while she takes a leave of absence. Jack likes the idea, as he would prefer to have a maid that he knows and trusts. Jack and Esther begin to grow closer as Jack realizes what a wonderful and warm-hearted woman Esther is. Esther becomes smitten with Jack's wit and charm. Jack's true love Esther was right there in Genoa City all these years, and he didn't know it. I think it would be very compelling to see Esther in the spotlight for a change and living the high life with the fabulously rich. Esther is Cinderella and Jack is her prince. Let the romance begin. That would be a fun twist, Diana. I like that. I really do. Oh, Diana also says, I was excited and pleasantly surprised when Kyle mentioned to Jack that there was a Jabot plant in London, Ontario. Who knew? I always appreciate and enjoy when Y&R gives a Canadian reference, but hearing Kyle say London, Ontario was extra special and cool. I am sure Y&R does this to keep their friends to the north happy, and it does. We the North. And Henry says, nice to hear that there was also a plant in Charlotte. Charlotte is less than 2 hours from where we live. Yeah, I always kind of get that whenever they say Chicago. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like when a rock band calls out, hello, Chicago, at the concert, in the city that they're currently playing in. It's a weird thrill, isn't it? It's like, my fantasy and my reality are melting together. Okay, everybody, I'm ready to melt into my pillow and take a nap. Sunday naps with Allie. Sunday nap chat. Maybe that'll be my new project. Oh, I watch Y&R all week, and on Sunday I like to watch the back of my eyes. The back of my eyelids. Okay, well, I tell you what, I have chatted, and now I would love for you to chat. Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the show, vote in the pool, let me know how you're thinking, do a guess on the Who Said It quote. There's all kinds of stuff to read and see and do there. And when you're finished, just have yourself a little Sunday nap yourself. And then tomorrow, tune back in to Y&R, check back into the site. We'll be chatting about it again, and I'll be here next Sunday to do the same. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.